Hello everyone, StreamTuber7 here, and it's been a while since I've actually used my voice in these videos. But the thing is, I'm actually going to be doing a tiny bit of narration here at some point. It's just that right now I'm letting you read things, and I'm having a tiny bit of a break in between because this is a really small sample of what Star Citizen actually has to offer. The tutorial actually takes place in the Stanton system, which is the first system that we've actually had in Star Citizen. Now we have 3. Also, this is 4.6 Star Citizen. By the time I finish getting to the rest of these videos, we're probably going to be in 4.7 Star Citizen. We shifted from Lorville, which is the main hub, to Horizon, or Horizon depending, and now we're in Area 18. Area 18's main thing that I used to hang around with is the G-Loke bar. And the G-Loke bar is an actual bar. Now, New Babbage, I don't know really where the bars are in New Babbage. I haven't spent a lot of time in New Babbage. I've mainly spent time in Area 18 in Lorville. So yeah, Area 18, I'm going to let you read it, but I will be narrating it at some point and chunking it up a little bit. But this is just the main video to where I have a little bit of, this is going to be the tutorial, so the area that I like for the tutorial is actually Lorville, and there's a tiny bit of a personal reason for that. It's mainly due to the fact that Lorville is one of the earliest actual cities in Star Citizen, and players that have been around since the beginning have seen Lorville expand quite a lot. And the other thing is, all of these pictures that you see in the background here are real locations that you can visit. So at some point I'm going to be visiting the locations that you see in the Select Your Start. Though I don't, no, wait, I don't know, that's the Claw, but I don't know if it's the Hornet. But yeah, so we're starting at Lorville. Oh, looks like I ran out of time to gawk at y'all for the little bit that I had there. Alright, so, right now, we're going to be heading to another section to where I can actually start reading a lot. Here we go! Faulty filters to blame for mysterious ailment. This is an actual in-game dynamic event. I was completely surprised by this. It's something that I've been seeing in Elite Dangerous and various other games, and Star Citizen actually has it too now. The Levski event. So, Nyx is a completely new system in Star Citizen, the 3rd system. I haven't even been to Pyro yet. Also, this is me showing you what the game's doing in the background while that tiny hourglass that's also, we have 2 hourglasses now. One is my little logo-y thing, and the other is the background loading thing. But that's basically just the hourglass for, I'm thinking. It's going to take a while. That ages everybody that knows what the hourglass is instead of the infinite spinny circle. What do you call that thing? Oh my gosh, the buffering circle? I guess you can call it the buffering circle. Anyway, this is basically a digital newspaper, so it gives me plenty of time to be able to just read things in the background instead of just looking at a black screen that says, loading. You actually have relevant information that's over here. Oh shoot! Cut! Alright, we're in game now. So I'm live narrating this actually, but not in person narrating it. It's different. Also, rest in that thing. So I'm actually not on an American server right now. Star Citizen is actually kind of split by region, and that's due to bandwidth issues as well as, well, I don't know any other reason besides bandwidth issues. So, in terms of that, we start in bed. I already know how to get out of bed, but it didn't necessarily tell us how to get out of bed, which is kind of a failure in the tutorial a bit. But anyway, here it is. Moby Glass Journal. Press F1. Oh no! I got distracted by the coffee? You know why I got distracted by the coffee. Certain people watching this video. Now this is the F1 that it told me to press. I pressed F1 and I pretended to be a new player. It's like, where's your... Oh, there it is. So yeah, where's your... Oh, there it is. Tutorial. Welcome to the verse. It's reading time. I said it's reading time. It's reading time. So here's the thing. Star Citizen actually tends to have a little bit of a bugginess problem because it's not a fully complete game. It's in early development. And things like this can actually crop up a lot of the time to where you won't see it unless it refreshes. You have just stepped 930 years into a future where humanity is spread across the stars under the rule of the United Empire of Earth, the UEE. While many humans spend their lives never leaving their homeworld, there are those who choose to travel aboard advanced starships. These starships, you have to brave outlaws, hostile aliens, and hazardous conditions to seek your fortune. And that's all I am able to do the live narrating thing for. But in general, eating and drinking is part of Star Citizen. Tutorial 1. Eat burrito. First, I'm not going to eat the burrito. I'm going to inspect the burrito. This is one of the other things that you can do in Star Citizen is every object, well, not every object, I almost did a thing. Most objects in the game will be actually able to be interacted with, picked up, used, and moved. It's not something that is common for this many things to be interactable with. It didn't always start this way either. There was a limited selection at least 7 years ago, and they've been gradually, over time, continuously adding function to these to be able to make it so that nearly every single thing has a tactile experience associated with it in a digital format. Which is an interesting thing for them to be doing because it also implies that they will be able to do things like convert that into a direct VR experience. Every single input would be able to be detected as a different motion. Technically, finger tracking is going to be what they're going to be using for that. Alright, so I'm going to get coffee next time around, but in general, this is a generalized hab tour, starting with the bed. There's a reason why I like Lorville. Oh, those are exercise weights, by the way, and that's a radiator. I don't know why there's a radiator there, as opposed to any other area, but so here's the storage access. This is not something that most players in the game will have for their Star Citizen. Oh my gosh, you did a Star Citizen thing. There we go. They won't have this many things in their inventory. I've just been playing Star Citizen and testing Star Citizen and play testing Star Citizen for a long while. So it's like, oh no, I picked up the water. Where did it go? It went into a localized inventory. That localized inventory isn't something that is exactly shown until you actually press the I button, which has actually been the standard inventory button for quite a long while. So, the reason why I highlighted the helmet is because this is a brand new 4.6 feature that we've been waiting for. There's even a meme in the Star Citizen community where people chant, "Helmet, helmet, helmet." And this is one of the things to where I had my first helmet chant experience with this. This is the first... oh my god, you phased through it. You ruined it! So yeah, this is the first physicalized experience in Star Citizen with a helmet. That goes onto your head, and everything you see, UI elements that are not already engaged, will be visible now. A compass is now overlaid even more visibly on our screen, up at the top. A mini-map is now... Actually, you know what? I was busy talking. Here's the reason why I'm looking at the fire extinguisher. I distracted myself. You need to fight fires in Star Citizen now, just plain out. So I was doing a project personally where I tracked every single fire extinguisher in Star Citizen. I don't think anybody... Rude! Closing the door on me. Because I'm walking here. Okay, you know what? Forget that. We're in tutorial mode, but I'm going to actually tell you a little bit more about why I got distracted from the tutorial. Lorville has just been so different that every time I look out that window, it's a completely different experience. I turned off the music because in terms of how I make these videos, any music is going to be in-game, in-universe music, with the exception of players that are, you know, doing the equivalency of blasting 930-year-old and older music. Oh my gosh, we're in the 2950s, which means that 1950s music is really damn old. So, Lorville is a little bit trashy. That's one of the other things. It's sort of like run down. Damn. Alright, I'm keeping that in. That's the timer. So, essentially, Lorville is run down. It's kind of not the best place to live, but it's still livable. And eventually, once they have actual apartments and persistent apartment rooms, like they have persistent hangars now, they'll be able to do things like, oh, you spawned on... And this is the key part here. Floor numbers. There's 5 floors at least to this building, maybe more, but for now they have a 5-story buildings in Star Citizen, effectively. They don't actually have like 5-story stories full of actual explorable area, let's say. Everything that you have is basically just a carbon copy of the bed thing. And now I'm in another explaining moment. This guy here is an NPC that you can talk to. Can't say much, but you can still talk to them. Not every single NPC can be talked to in Star Citizen, but a lot more can be talked to than were previously available to be talked to. But back to the rundown thing with Lorville. It's also got a pollution problem too. Lorville is actually owned by Hurston Dynamics, and Hurston Dynamics is sort of this mega corporation that really kind of does weapons development a lot. So I have to explain this bit too. That little bit where the NPC was cowering is due to a localized thing that happens to where a criminal is nearby and they go into, quote, the cower response. It's going to be something that we don't see too often, but it just means that recently there was a criminal element nearby. Oh man, having to go through this at rapid fire. Hammerhead, do not disappoint me with not knowing that reference, please. They have AI nowadays. Oh my gosh, that logo almost looks like that ship. I just now noticed that. That profile of that ship looks like that logo. Is that a holographic representation of the logo thing like we have like the motorcycle logo, the truck logo, and car logo? Is that a holographic representation of one of our hover vehicles? I have been... That's what happens when I become speechless. It's not often that I become speechless. That was a player. Did they do that just for me? Did they do that just for me because I was walking? I can't even tell at this point. Because Star Citizen's so dynamic that they literally could have just... Oh, here's me creeping on an NPC. They literally could have just done that as part of their normal routine of, okay, I'm here, I can take my helmet off, now I need to eat, but I wouldn't know that. There's another coward NPC. And I was surprised because... No, that's definitely a player. They looked at the map. NPCs don't look at the maps. Okay, I answered my own question. So it says view the area map. I just did the exact same thing they did because I think they're doing the tutorial too. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's how you tell that they're a player in Star Citizen. They remove their helmets, but also they remove their helmets for specific reasons that NPCs don't. There's another cower NPC. NPCs don't remove their helmets unless they already have one on and have a reason to take it off. I'm speeding around here, speedy boy, because I just want to get to the map that says, here, this is the Metro Center. The Metro Center, also, this is a dystopia. Remember, silence is complicity. Do your part, citizen. Oh man, Lorville is Lorville, my favorite city. So we're gonna ride some things. We're not gonna finish the tutorial for a bit, but I'm keeping the marker on screen for Tamani and Sons. This is a place where you will be able to find armor and things like that. I don't know exactly what, but you know what? There's a tutorial for that. Let's find out together. And I think I just arrived exactly when the train did. Let's see here. Yes. I have about 5, 10, 15, 20... They're about 30 seconds. But this is the Eastern Perimeter Line. They have an entire rapid transit system. Also, it's called the Hurston Rapid Transit because Hurston Dynamics owns the planet. It's not the Lorville Massive or Lorville Rapid Transit. Hurston is making it very clear, this is my transit line. You are on my... Oh, was that a... Yeah, hold on. Was that a reflection over there? I think I just saw the lights from the train. But yeah, he's saying, it's my transit line. You all have the privilege of getting on my Hurston Dynamics trains. So, I think I missed the train. I think I missed the train, because this is the second train, I believe. So, that little white bar is what I think I saw. And it's like departing in... How many seconds do I have? Okay, I have enough seconds. So this is the other hilarious thing about Star Citizen. And Chris Roberts made this joke on live stage, and that means it's alright for everybody else to do it too. Star Citizen's trains actually arrive on time. They are one of the most consistent things in Star Citizen now. There was a time where you had ghost trains, trains that stacked on top of each other. I have some videos of this too. But here is... Ooh, got a little bit of a lag spike there. Here is us, and just looking out the window. This is area that I think some of it you can fly over. Not all of it, but it's like the equivalency of... You can't just be expected to fly anywhere in a real city. Even though it's supposed to be a digital thingy, they're going for that level of realism. So there's restricted zones. And you have to be able to know where your restricted zones are. Technically, there's an autopilot that they've been experimenting with. But in general, this city is huge. That number right there that I'm focusing on, 7 kilometers, isn't just for show. We've been moving at a speed that is a rapid transit, I would say. And it's hundreds of kilometers per hour. It's nighttime right now. So I do this, and by the time I get around to actually finishing part of my Star Citizen experience, it becomes daytime again. So I'd say that the night-day cycle in Hurston is at least maybe 30 minutes. They can't do real-world night-day cycle because that would just be unmanageable, essentially. But the compression rate is probably acceptable. So here we go inside. I like this particular view. It does have an interesting effect for parallax and other things, which you can tell if you've ever been inside a subway train, that one of the things that is accurate about that rendering is that window view. Also, I'm going to eventually get off here, but this is Gate 1. We'll be going from Gate 1 to Gate 2 to Gate 3 to Gate 2 to Gate 1. This view. This is the... Oh my gosh, you're in a tunnel. There's lights so that you know that you're in a tunnel, because otherwise you'd just be in void, and that's disorientating. Why are there no lights here? We figured that out a long time ago, which is kind of interesting. Darkness is not our friend a lot of the time. And also the reason why my frame rate is so low is because I wanted to show you all at least a tiny bit of the dynamic fog cloud system that they have here, as well as what that does when it's combined with their dynamic lighting system. Also, there's a tiny warning down there that says, please do not lean on door. The reason for that is the same as in real life. If the door's open and you're leaning on it, guess where you're going to be going? That you don't want to be going because you're leaning on the door, and physics are a thing. Yeah. Please, do not lean on the door. No, it doesn't say please. There's a reason why it doesn't say please. And also, there's a reason why it's there. Somebody's done it before. And when somebody's done it before, you know what happens. Oh man, I hope CIG gets to dynamically update that air quality thing too, because they do have an atmosphere system. Liberty Lake. A taste of freedom. I just got advertised to, literally right to my face, in-game, as I was trying to do a narration. Wow. 10 out of 10 experience. We're now at Gate 2. We have one more gate to go, and then we'll be able to complete the Lorville Gate 1 through 3 loop. There will be 3 more gates after that. Gates 4, 5, and 6. Each gate is anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, but some gates can take up to a total of about 7 minutes. Yep, and there we go, out of the tunnel. There's another one. So, on one side you've got report, suspicious activity. The other you've got a beer commercial. That's the lovely juxtaposition of Lorville. Business and alcohol mixed together, which is probably why the citizens of Lorville aren't allowed to own guns. I mean, honestly, it's one of the things to where if you're in Star Citizen, you can purchase weapons because you're not a regular citizen, technically. You can roleplay as being a regular citizen, but that technically means you have limitations that other players don't have. And that is one of the things that's not covered typically in Star Citizen. In Star Citizen, it's implied that we are a sequel, a dynamically evolving sequel to a single-player game that still hasn't released yet, that they're also developing simultaneously while developing Star Citizen. Is that shooted? What is that? Oh my gosh, too late, too slow, can't read, oh my gosh. But yeah, while developing Star Citizen, they're also developing a single-player game, Squadron 42, based on the same engine. And this is the multiplayer version of that game, technically. So, it takes place right now in 2956, which is 930 years removed from our current year. And Squadron 42 takes place anywhere from 2938 to 2942, all the way up to 2948. I'd say 5-year span, so 2942 to 2947 and before. So a 10-year span if they're doing prequels even. That was Gate 3, by the way. So now we go around the loop, and at the end of the loop, 10 kilometers is our final distance away from Tamani and Sons. Back to Tamani and Sons we go, sort of. I don't actually go to Tamani and Sons. That's the thing about this. I can't really remember what I did during this, but that's also why it's a live narration. And I'll be able to know after I finish this version, and I'll be able to cut bits and pieces out of it that aren't as vitally important, like lingering around in places and reading things. So this is just the main version of that, where I'm live narrating completely 100% unscripted, because Star Citizen is unscripted. You never know what's going to happen in Star Citizen, for good reasons and bad reasons. It's an experience, not a game yet. It will be a game soon. And I actually say soon unironically this time, because they are content exploding right now. Beforehand, one of the things that it was that kept people coming back was, oh, maybe there's a free fly event thing that shows the new features or whatever, or new ships or whatever. But this time around, it's so different that I'm actually getting into it. So that is the Metro Loop. 1 to 3, but not 4 to 5 to 6 to 5 to 4. And this is where that loop looks like. That entire perimeter line is 2 loops. The first one you saw was gate 1, 2, and 3. The other one is the western line, which is gate 4, 5, and 6. I'm also talking over the NPCs because there's an entire video that's going to be dedicated to the NPCs. And I'll see you next one. Bye-bye.